Hey, football fans. Welcome to the show that brings you all things football. The latest installment of Kicking It with Kwabs is upon us. And today we have a special show for all of you Chelsea fans out there. So tonight, Kicking It with Kwabs brings you ladies' night, first of all, because I've got fans on the show tonight, and it's going to be women empowerment today, ladies' night, Bongega, and of course, two Chelsea supporters. Say hi to football extremers worldwide, Bongega, and of course, introduce yourselves to the world.
Hello, Football Xstream. We finally made it to Football Xstream, and we've been waiting for the invite. But a disclaimer for all the Chelsea fans watching, if you're looking for sound technical descriptions, please, not this team.
Agreed.
Come on.
Agreed. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, Football Xstream. And it's about time you focused on Chelsea. We've been waiting to see this. And it's nice to see it's an all-woman lineup.
Yeah.
If I can call it that.
Yeah, I wanted the all-woman lineup on purpose for one of my fan shows. And it just so happens when I finally decided we're going to do a Chelsea episode, I thought let's just make it a girls' night as well. So all of it at the same time. You're welcome. Thank you guys for making the time for us. If you're wondering why, of course, it's not showing her face, her screen there, she had a power outage literally 5 seconds before we started recording. So her screen is going to be off. But for all of you, she's probably one of the biggest Chelsea fans I do know. She's got a big, massive Chelsea ball that was sitting right next to her there. And then as we were about to start the show, she had a power outage. So sorry, of course, we won't be able to see you, and all the single guys out there won't be able to come running looking for you there. So Bongega, you'll have all the football fans to yourself after today. Yeah. So football fans, Kicking It with Kwabs kicks off today with our special focus on Chelsea ladies' night with the fans. Of course, I want to ask you, and then Bongega, I'll pass it over to you. Chelsea is doing really well in the Premier League this season. Up until, let's say, last week, they were first at the top of the table. So, of course, what would you say in terms of Chelsea, how they've played up till now? Have they met your expectations? Have they gone past your expectations? What would you say?
I would say Chelsea is playing well. In regards to we already know that they have good squad depth and stuff. Yeah. I think they've been playing well. However, the past couple of games, I'd say the last 3 or so games, we have been looking a little bit fatigued. I would say teams seem like they have more confidence when they're playing against us. But I wouldn't really say I'm discouraged. I think Chelsea still have the quality and the team spirits to really challenge for the title. So I would say I'm still happy with the way Chelsea's playing. And I actually have faith that moving forward, the next couple of games that are ahead, I feel like we will have good results.
Okay. And have they met your expectations? If you
I
were to
couldn't
say
agree more with that statement.
Okay. Yeah, carry on, boss. Carry on with that.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I couldn't agree more. I mean, the last horrendous to watch. I mean, the boys haven't been feeling like themselves. But that's a pattern with Chelsea. Like, if you look at all our games, if you look at us and the big guys, we usually do so well and we, up there. But when it comes to the little guys, seem to take a back seat. So that happened in a couple of games. But I also think I'm still very confident that we are still in it to win it. Yeah. The team is looking good. Everyone seems like they're gelling really well. Yeah. And they're playing really well. So I'm still very confident that we will take this.
Okay, wow, fighting words. I like that. I must say myself, I am very impressed with how Chelsea started the season. When you look at last season, it looked like Man City had walked away with the Premier League. And then this season, everyone was like, okay, dark horses, Man United, Chelsea, dark horses, Liverpool. We don't know what's going to come up after the season before with all the injuries. And then Chelsea comes out walking strong, jumping out ahead in the league title and to the top of the log. And then it was Liverpool and Man City now catching up. So would you say, how would you compare, Bongega, if you'd like to say, if you compare Chelsea versus the like musical, I don't know, brilliance that Man City is in terms of the way they play the football, and then Liverpool's like fast-paced rock and roll type football, how would you say Chelsea compares with those two teams?
Great question. I think Chelsea, I know you're right. Liverpool's Man City is quite dynamic as well. I think we compare by balance. I think what most of the teams don't have in the Premiership that we really do have an advantage of. I think we covered all our sides. We've got our fronts, we've got our midfielders, we've got our defense. Everyone's quite solid and no one's playing out of tune. So I think that's our biggest advantage. We play so well as a team and in tune, unlike other teams where you'd see a gap in the back or see a gap in the middle. I think that's our main advantage, that we're able to move so well together as a team.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. How would you describe that difference?
I think for me, what I've seen is Manchester City is very technical. Liverpool, like you said, they are fast-paced and they have a strong defense. The thing about Chelsea is, I remember people were always criticizing Chelsea for playing boring football, but we were very effective. So I feel like the fact that we are able to rotate our players, and if we just stick to our game, that's when we get results. So that's why I feel like I can't really say we aim like Manchester City are a strong side. They're technical. Liverpool are also quite a very strong team. I feel like Chelsea may not necessarily be on the same level in terms of playing style, but we can still challenge based on the way we play and based on the players that we have. So different playing style.
Okay, cool. And then if you were to say, let's say, for example, with all these different playing styles, now that the top three have separated themselves, so let me just quickly read you the league table as it stands now. So, well, Man City played yesterday and they won 7-0, but Liverpool and Chelsea will have their games today and tomorrow. But after Man City with 17 games, Liverpool and Chelsea with 16 games, Chelsea are third on 36 points, Liverpool are second on 37 points, and Man City on 41 points, but having played an extra game. So let's assume Liverpool and Chelsea both win their games. It's going to be 2 points between first and third. So moving forward, how do you see the rest of the season going along? Do you see yourselves busting forward? Do you see difficulties coming ahead? Because when Liverpool played Chelsea, it was a draw. When Liverpool played City, it was a draw. But when Chelsea played City, City won. So meaning that City's got the advantage over Liverpool and Chelsea technically in the head-to-head stakes. But what would you say Chelsea's chances are of staying in the fight or even winning the whole thing? Of course, what would you say?
I think now that N'Golo Kante seems like he's back in the squad because he's been injured the past couple of days, he hasn't been playing. I feel like now when he comes back into the squad, I feel like Chelsea will have a strong chance. I think the next game we're playing is I feel like if we really put our all in it and we win the next games, we will still be in the title race. I also know Ben Chilwell, also when he comes back, but actually Alonso has been playing well, so let me not even say when Ben comes back. Like I feel like we still can do well. I have faith in Chelsea. I genuinely feel like if we stick to making sure that we win the next games that are coming along and we rotate our squad as well as the manager has been doing, I think we're still in it.
Okay. Bongs, what's your opinion on Chelsea's chances moving forward? Are you going to stick with the top two? Are you going to go over?
I mean, I'd be such a weird fan if I said we are not in it. I mean, that's just such a weird fan base. But yeah, no, I'm not saying this because I just like Chelsea, but I think the stats also speak for themselves. We've had a very strong season, and I don't see us finishing it any other way. I think our biggest advantage is our coach right now. He's very thoughtful when it comes to the moves that he makes in the team, you know? The movements around it. So I think even with Kante coming back and the team also feeling energized, I do think we'll see probably some wins in our next few games. How that will shape up, I'm not sure on the league, but we are definitely just gonna come back. And you know, the boys just might be tired, man. Just give them a week, Christmas week, let them rest, you know. Let them feel energized and let them come back into the game like stronger and better.
Yeah, I do also think that this whole topsy-turvy between the top three, there was a point where Liverpool was on top and then Liverpool slid for about 2-3 games when Chelsea was on top. Now it's Chelsea slipping and then Man City is now on top. And then in the beginning, Man City had slipped at the very beginning of the season. So I think this will carry on between the three teams where you're going to 1 or 2 games where you don't get it done and then the other 2 teams will take advantage. So they are separating themselves. Can you see?
I think also another thing.
Carry on.
I think another thing that might be affecting players' psyche. I mean, I'm sure we've all had enough of the COVID conversation, but like, can you just imagine these young men that have been so used to playing for crowds and feeling that energy and having to adjust in some way or form? I know in the UK that they're probably back to full capacity, but having that anxiety as well when you go into the game, knowing that you might get COVID, the games might be stopped again, we might go in full lockdown. I definitely think things like that have affected the boys as well. Not just Chelsea, I mean, soccer players as a whole. So I mean, they need some time off. They need a few weeks to just rest, I think, and collect themselves. And we'll definitely see better football from everyone when everyone's rested, you know?
Okay, and then you touched on the coach there, Bongs, about Tuchel and so forth.
And also just to I realized.
Carry on.
No, I was just going to add that we even see that some of our players, like Ruben, he's starting to also pick up his momentum. Like after his injury, it took him a while to get to where he left off, but now he seems like he's improving and he's doing well while today is out. So that also gives me a bit of faith.
No, that's good. So I wanted to touch on the coach again, on Thomas Tuchel, because before Tuchel, the Chelsea glamour boy, dream team player, legend, Frank Lampard was at the helm. Everyone was super happy that he got the job. They were winning games, and then all of a sudden, everything fell to pieces. I mean, what happened there? What's the comparison? What's the difference between what Lampard was doing in the beginning, bringing in all the young boys, the Tammy Abrahams, what's his name? The guy on the right back. What's his name again? Reece James, Mason Mount. He brings them in.
James.
Yeah, he brings them in. They're winning games, and then all of a sudden it falls off. And then Tuchel comes in, and boom, winning formula all of a sudden. So draw comparisons there for me, if you can, between Frank Lampard, what he did wrong maybe, and what he was doing versus what Thomas Tuchel is doing now. Bongs, if you can start off for me.
Well, I mean, look, we've seen this play out so many times in football, and not only in Chelsea, when old boys come back as managers and as coaches. It's quite difficult because they're coming back from a different point of view than any other coach would come in. They have been in the squad as a player, so they might have grievances within themselves that they look to rectify when they have better positions or power within the team. So I do think Frankie also came back with the same point of view. I mean, he was a player and he was emotionally, I mean, I think Tuchel is also emotionally invested, but not as much as Frankie was. And I think he had a grievance for young players and for our development. I think he knows how important it is to just liberate young players and make sure that they play. So I think that's why he gave them a lot of play time. But at the same time, he couldn't balance it with empowering our current strong big guys. I mean, I'm benching Kante, man. What? There's so many games where we could have leveraged off Kante that we didn't, because, we really are trying to build our young guys. And personally, I think Abraham is a brilliant player. I think we will probably see a Lukaku story with him again, where he'll go somewhere else and he'll be great and brilliant, and we'll look back and we'll be like, what do? But that's fine, players evolve and they grow. But I think that's where the differences were. Frankie was primarily focused on developing the young guys and making sure that there's longevity in the team. I think Tuchel knew the strengths from outside in, and having had that experience as a manager, he knew the strength and he knew what to leverage off Chelsea. I think that's why also, as soon as he came in, you saw that difference, because he moved around things and he moved around players, because he saw the strength outside of the emotional attachment and the longevity that Frankie was seeing.
Okay, of course. What's your take on that?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. Like, the big mistake that Frank made was leaving all the experienced players out of the starting lineup. Like, Aspi was barely playing, Rudiger wasn't even a thought, Christensen, all of them, they were all sitting on the bench, in the squad. And a lot of them are actually the leaders in the team. So I think that's the one thing, the lack of leadership, because when they started playing after Tuchel brought them in, there was a change. There was a big change. And I think at the same time, Frank Lampard took a while to figure things out. So he was constantly moving players, switching positions, because he was trying to see what was the best combination. But it took too long. And playing or managing a club like Chelsea, we all have expectations. Like you said, we are always competing for Champions League and we want to win games and stuff. So the fact that he was taking too long to figure out you wanted it, I guess no one had the patience. Chelsea didn't have the patience for that. And Tuchel has come in and he figured it out. He knew where he wanted the players to play, and we started seeing results almost immediately, if I can say that.
Yeah.
So, and also the fact that Frank Lampard, remember, his managing career hasn't been long. Like, he's still in the starting phase, and he was put in the deep end all of a sudden to manage a club like Chelsea. Yeah. Like, we already see other managers who are football players, and they're starting off with smaller teams in a different league. Then they like slowly building, gaining experience. But Frank Lampard was kind of put in the deep end, I think, too early in his career. And we saw the outcome of it. But I mean, I was also excited. I'm not going to lie. I was excited to see Frank Lampard as a manager. I was all for it. And when he left and I saw Thomas Tuchel was coming in, I was also all for it, because like, this guy is also good. So it is what it is.
I can imagine. Because I would also say, like, I like how you were talking about the fact that it was too early for him. Because my opinion is that it was a great story to have Frank Lampard as Chelsea's coach. But in my opinion, even at the very beginning, if only we had spoken this on Football Xstream even at the time, is that I said that it's too early for him to be a Chelsea manager, because as soon as he loses 2, 3, 4 games, people are going to be wanting him to be gone. And the fact that he is a legend at the club and so forth. Look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he only had 2 other coaching jobs at 2 smaller clubs. And then he comes in at Man United, starts off like a house on fire. And then when the poor performances came on, the crowd has left him behind, but the directors took a very long time to let go of him. And with Frank Lampard, I just feel he should have been given 2 years elsewhere, let him learn the ropes of being a manager. Then if he comes to Chelsea in like 2023, 2024 as the next manager at that time, when he's grown a bit, then it wouldn't have been such a short-lived, because he was less than 1 season and then he's out. And then as soon as he's gone, Tuchel comes in it's as if Frank Lampard set the table for him because Chelsea now all of a sudden clicks into gear and then goes on to win the Champions League. So I want to take this conversation there now. Now that you guys are supporting the European champions, I know what it feels like to support the European champions. You walk out with your chest out. Like you get to work, and you're waiting for them to start talking about soccer. And then you're like, yeah, guys, yeah, I'm the European champion. So, yeah, you guys have just the fun side of it, like the bragging rights amongst your friends, housemates, colleagues, or whatever. Do you guys get into that banter about when the guys are talking football on a Monday and you walk in as a Chelsea supporter? Do you guys take part in the banter at the office or with other friends?
Definitely, but I think definitely. I mean, football is a game. We gotta win. Yeah. So when you do win, you get your bragging rights. But I do think it's a bit different than, I might just be generalizing, but it's a bit bragging. It's like it's we have bragging rights, but I think the manner in which you do it is really different as well.
Yeah.
I mean, also I have bragging rights for Chelsea whether they win tomorrow or they don't. It's like that's just like my blood is blue. That's my team. Even more when we're European champions, but no matter what happens, that's my team. So I'll brag about Chelsea whenever I can, even if we are the last in the league and whatever's happening. There's always something good about that team. There's always something good about those men and how they play and how they put their hearts on the field. So there's always something to brag about. But even more when you're the European champion, and you're about to be the European champion again. I mean, so great
fighting words there. Okay. Of course, European champion. Let's see your fighting words.
Champions of Europe, we know who we are.
The pride of London.
Definitely. I think it's the same thing. Like whenever people get into arguments of, before Chelsea was doing well, it was always like, oh yeah, no, Manchester United this, Liverpool that. Now it's like Chelsea are finally gaining the respect that Chelsea deserve. And I think also it's a matter of, now that we've won the Champions League, we have that I don't know, it just builds us up, I think, to also continue supporting Chelsea. But just like Wongera said, even if Chelsea loses, even when we draw, I'm still going to put the Chelsea flag on my status. I'm still going to support Chelsea like they won or whatever the case is. But all I know is Arsenal supporters contact me until you won the Champions League. You can't come with your input.
To be honest,
I only talk to people who won the Champions League.
Even Liverpool, they only recently can speak to us. I mean,
yes, you just made it.
I mean, you just made it recently. Like what? You can't.
Okay. So let me now school some people. If you want to compare Liverpool and Chelsea in terms of this conversation, when it comes to champions of Europe, let's talk about 6, baby. Let's talk about 6. You guys are 2-time champions. Let's talk about 6, baby. Come on. The best Champions League comeback ever belongs to Liverpool. You guys got it 1-0. Okay, granted, you guys beat Bayern Munich with that comeback. Didier Drogba scoring that header. I don't understand how he scored that goal. So your first Champions League was so great emotional. Comeback.
That was the best final ever.
And I was rooting against you. I was rooting for Bayern all the way that game. And then, who was it? Drogba scores. Was it Torres who scored the other goal? I can't remember. But yeah, okay, fine. You guys had a great one. So let's see. Are you guys gonna win it this time? Because you guys are facing in the second round. You're facing Lille. So the team from France. First game is at Stamford Bridge. What are the chances of you think that Chelsea can go all the way again? Keeping in mind,
you can't touch us at Stanford. I mean,
okay, all right, yeah.
I mean, we're home. I mean, there's all these jokes about how Chelsea has the smallest stadium. I mean, we don't care. I mean, we home. We play and we win, you know? Yeah, no.
Okay.
And there's definitely, no, we're going for that European title again. So I'm really not dismayed by any side, to be honest with you, that we may face. I mean, if we need to pull a Juventus on anyone, we will. You know, we will just, you know, we can reminisce and do what we did to that side, to anyone. So it's just like, yeah, no, we're here.
Okay, all right. I like that. I like that. Of course, what are the Champions League hopes for Chelsea this season? Keeping in mind, Man City still there, Real Madrid, Liverpool, PSG, all still there.
Okay, yeah, true.
Bayern Munich as well.
That's true. But remember, the last season, basically this past Champions League, everyone was betting against Chelsea. Everyone thought Man City was going to take it, and then look what we did. Because even myself, I won't lie, there was a little bit of fear because I was like, yo, City is a strong team. But I still had that idea in my head, Guti, Chelsea can win this. If we push, we can win it. And you mentioning Lille, because we're playing Lille in the next game.
Yes.
Remember, Tuchel was in the French league, so he's familiar with that club. He's familiar with that club. He should know or have an understanding of how they play. So I feel like that can be a little bit of an advantage for us. And even with PSG, same thing. He knows that club. Thiago Silva also was there, so they also know. And in regards to Real Madrid and all of these other clubs, if we face them, we played them also lost we beat Real Madrid before we went, was it against, before we went into the final?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember
correctly.
Yeah.
So these are all clubs that, yes, they are strong. Yeah, they are strong. They have a history of doing well, but it's the same thing with Chelsea now. And on top of that, we have a good manager. We have a strong team, and even the youngsters like Reece James and all these Mounts, they're young, but you can see the hunger in them and you can see the strength that they play with. So I still believe that Chelsea can go far.
Wow.
Win it. So,
I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the love, the total one-sided love for your team. Blue Bloods. I love it. I love it. So, football fans, it has been Ladies' Night, Ladies' Edition on Kicking It with Kwabs here on Football Xstream. Be sure to catch the next episode coming soon. I mean, this has been wonderful. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for flying your Chelsea flags high. And of course, we can finally see you halfway through the show. You didn't want Supongega to take all the shine, huh? Okay.
I have to reach her.
Yo. Okay, no, that's fine.
Thanks for having us, Kwabs.
Yeah,
such a great conversation.
Yeah, thanks for coming in and contributing. So, football fans, that's a wrap for Kicking It with Kwabs. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. There's more coming in from Football Xstream, more from the Nene Show. We're going to just keep bringing it in. It's the December period in the Premier League, so games are coming thick and fast and all over Europe as well. So stay tuned. More fans coming in on Kicking It with Kwabs. Maybe Akos and Bongega will probably make a return on a Liverpool versus Chelsea game. Who knows? And I'm telling you, they won't be smiling like that when Liverpool is
sure.
We'll see. We're going to see.
Sure.
We'll see.
So yeah, subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and stay tuned for more Football Xstream. Ladies, say bye to the Football Xstreamers out there.
Bye, Football Xstreamers.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. See you soon, fans.